Yo, yo, guys, how's it going? Let me know if my music is a little too loud or if it's too quiet. Yo, yo, yo. Ilvorn, I'm gonna DM you a link to the Zoom. There you go.
Hello.
Yo, yo, how's it going, man?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Good, good, good. Yeah, this is definitely going to get me DMCA'd for the entire stream, but if I'm, like, relaxing doing this, we're just going to listen to whatever the fuck I want to listen to, you know?
Sure.
I'm not in the mood for Akuna Matata. There you go. Base Hunter it is. Here, let me screen share, actually, in Zoom so you can see live what's happening as well.
All right.
There you go.
Oh, right, yeah.
All right, so...
Okay, so you're thinking like every class has a unique prestige class.
Yes.
Or, right.
Prestige benefit or anything else you want to call
Sure.
it like that. I think we're just going to have to call this the prestige system in
I'm
general.
sort of like thinking it... Well, in earlier editions, most prestige classes had some sort of like... you had to have a certain synergy before you could take it, so it usually required you to have at least 1 or 2 levels in 2 different classes.
Yes, I want to lean away from that, however.
Right.
Or maybe we even lean into it. Like that's something I haven't debated about very deeply, in all honesty.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not something completely out of the question. It's just I want to keep it open to very simple requirements that I have, so that as long as we honor these requirements, everything else can build around it and it can be engaging.
Right.
Benefits must be useful, but not game breaking.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking sort of already every class has their kind of like prestige benefit, if you think about it, like end game stuff. Like you have to be a level 18 paladin to gain the 30-foot aura of protection.
Right.
So that kind of stuff that's really prestigious sort of comes into play at a later stage anyway. But the way I'm thinking is these like prestige classes, they could be attainable through different means, either as I mean, you don't have to necessarily play a specific kind of class to enter a prestige class, but you gain these sort of universal prestige benefits from it, so that your background class or your initial class has some sway on how you play it, and it would sort of make it a little bit more dynamic as well.
So you're thinking more of a global prestige system that has specific requirements, but not really class requirements.
Yeah, well, some of them, well, it depends on like the kind of prestige class. Some of them could have very specific class requirements, of course, but I'm thinking there should be at least some that can be more universally attained. For example, if you have one that's sort of built mostly towards the bard class, you could, for example, have someone attain it with having a couple of levels of rogue and maybe some like a certain cantrips or well, not a cantrip, but certain level of spells available to them. So you could be like a rogue wizard or eldritch trickster and still take it, which might affect how you would play that class. But you'd still get the same benefits even if you were like the specific bard requirement you had. So for example, if you had a requirement that said let's take Volstrucker for just an example. If you had, in order to become a Volstrucker, you would need, for example, expertise in let's say deception and insight, and you would need sneak attack and level 3 spell access. So you could like have different ways of attaining that, but you would need to have at least one level of rogue to gain the sneak attack thing.
Okay.
So yeah, so you could still play like a let's say a rogue paladin multiclass and become a Volstrucker. That sounds kind of counterintuitive, but so yeah, so just so not every member of the same prestige class would essentially be the same.
Right, but to balance that in a way that wouldn't encourage a very specific build pattern in order to min-max it.
Yeah,
that's where I'm finding difficulty, because like everything you explained sounds phenomenal and fun, but realistically you can obtain all of that just by dipping your toes into rogue by 2 levels, and then more than likely they're just going to dump 5 levels into bard afterwards, and then what turns into the strongest thing that you're playing is you're probably going to become like a thief rogue, so you can get a magical item with an activation ability, into a College of Whispers bard. And
Right.
then right there, you just like super min-max to, I'm gonna burst that motherfucker and kill them, and then gain all these extra really cool benefits as well. Like
Yeah.
avoiding certain things like that would be
Yeah, of course, that's sort of
the
the main
goal.
issue as well, to avoid the power creep. But so the thing with prestige classes is that they need to have sort of like a very specific kind of niche, so that the abilities you gain from the class shouldn't be game breaking, but they should be very interesting, or they should be very, or they could be very powerful in specific instances, but not generally across the board.
All right.
So that, for example, you'd have a paladin-oriented prestige class that's super effective against undeads, even more than normal paladins. But against others, they become unable to smite, for example, or something like that.
Ooh. So, for ideas, the first one we have is class combination prerequisite. The second one was ability combination prerequisite, right?
Yeah.
The expertise ability.
Yeah, for example.
Otis, your comment. Couldn't there be a role-playing storyline prereq also? That is one of my requirements. Yeah, I should probably add that into the requirements. Thank you.
Yeah, there definitely should be that kind of like initiation thing. I think your sound cut out a moment.
Oh, I wasn't talking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's sort of, yeah, I'm looking at the stream, and of course I forgot that it's a bit of a lag there. So, yeah.
Yes, thank
But
you,
yeah.
Otis.
Yeah, those are the kind of things that make prestige classes really interesting as well, because it's sort of in the name, so that when you have attained this prestige class, you're actually a very prestigious individual. Like, people who recognize you and see that, oh, he's actually a member of that shit.
So, Tim, isn't this subclasses with extra requirements? Yes and no, because you're still going to have your subclasses, but I want to lean away from subclasses dictating what these prestiges are, and instead move it into the realm of your specific actions or class or abilities dictate what prestige you can have. And I view this almost more like feats more than I view this as a class or anything like that. I think what I want to do with this is move it into the realm of, if you meet these specific requirements, you gain these specific benefits into the overarching story, which is why I like the idea more of ability combination prerequisites over class combination prerequisites, because then it is just subclassing, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, they could have like specific feat requirements as well. So for example, if you wanted to be a let's say a wizard who tries to focus more towards psionic magic, they would need to take the telepathic feat.
Or have the ability to read minds, I would say. Like, make it more easy to do that, so that, like, for instance, your tiefling could do that because you built it specifically to be able to do that. Bernie, since he has the ability to, like, read surface thoughts of people, and that would be a way to enter into that realm a little bit easier. Now, class combination prerequisites, ability combination prerequisites, story interaction prerequisites. Now, there's no reason for us to not accept all three of these, just different prestiges and different levels of them gain access to different things. The one requirement I am, like, strongly sticking to is you need a minimum of X levels in this class to be able to gain prestiges.
Yeah.
That's going to be, like, my hard, I don't want to accept prestige for individuals outside of that. Otis, epic level character extensions used to be based mostly on story path. Example, becoming a saint was the evolution from a life of services. I mean, yeah, stuff like that, but I think that's more like epic level leveling, like post level 20 leveling, which the shit that I already have built up, I've labeled as prestige leveling, you know, prestige 21, prestige 22. But I could just simply reword all of that since we haven't even engaged with that, I don't think. Nobody in the community has hit level 21 yet?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
My highest list level 19, I think.
Yeah,
Mary?
we have a couple of people that have hit 20, a few people that have hit 19, but nobody's 21 yet. Alrighty.
So yeah, for example, in the way I'm seeing it is that these prestige classes should be attainable before you reach into like epic level territory. But after reaching a certain level where you're already considered quite prestigious or powerful, so like level 8 could be like the earliest I'm thinking, because then you'd have you'd already have 2 ASIs where you could have taken feats that could facilitate entering into it. You'd have enough versatility available to you to be able to build towards this specific prestige class.
I think level 8 is a little too early to be able to unlock that stuff.
Sure.
Just because balancing around somebody at level 8 having this and then being able to multi-class into something way more than that, like, that's where the difficulty comes in. I assume that's where we were leaning. This was leaning. There's no reason that the two can't intersect either. Like, you have to prestige into your class or prestige into your ability to unlock your epic 20s, 21s, because previous to that, the only thing that you can realistically do is level 21. Like, if you're multi-class too heavily, say you're 15 barbarian, 5 fighter, like, the benefit that you gain at level 21 is, congrats, you can go 16 barbarian or 6 fighter. Whereas somebody who's prestiged, they would be able to move into, like, their prestige benefits becoming much more epic in scale. I think additional ASI and stat cap increases would be cool to have in prestige levels. For prestige classes, I am doing that. Or for epic classes, I would do that. But maybe a couple of the class-specific ones, like, you know, you can unlock this at level 10, and the prerequisite would be you have not multi-classed, and the prerequisite to maintain this benefit is you do not multi-class. So your character, by staying in their one class, gains the benefit of you unlock the cap of your primary spellcasting ability to an additional +2 maximum. And that would be a good way for them to start moving into that. The only hesitance I have with that is, like, let's be honest, that's kind of fucking boring. Like, oh, wow, you have a higher spell save DC. Congrats. Like, that's not anything cool or unique or class specific. It's just me hitty harder gooder. Like, and I'm not, I don't know, at least for me, I'm probably not going to be playing Oonga Boonga classes anytime soon, you know? Like,
but that kind of thing can be made into a more, like, interesting take on it, I'd say. So that instead of having, like, your spell save DCs are higher across the board, you'd have to have, like, certain specific materials that are very rare available to you, and you can use them in conjunction with certain spells in order to make the spell saves higher for that spell. Those kind of things that'd make it more sort of like story oriented as well. So you'd have to actually be focused on finding these materials, so they'd be, like, more so than normal material components.
hello, Otis. Welcome.
Hello.
Oh, hey.
I have to move my screens around because after playing last night, I've got the wrong screen on the wrong place. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently Tim's jumping in on here, too.
Cool.
And Icebreaker. Okay, cool. Apparently nobody has a life on a Wednesday afternoon. I love this.
So why aren't we playing?
Because y'all didn't pay? I don't know. Like, just...
I don't know.
Fair enough.
Money got taken out of my account this morning, so...
Oh, yeah, me too, yeah.
That was for last night, you fuckers. All right, just...
It's lunch hour, so...
So, my 2 cents is, if it is a prestige class, and you say something like, well, you know, that's only, what, +2 more to your spell defense or something like that, that's the piece that is sort of the plus to the math of it. But there needs to be a role-playing aspect, I think, that, like, title, or... You know, like last night when Tim's character finally threw on the robes and showed up all, you know, prestige-y because of who he is and where he is. That's kind of cool. You know, going into towns and having people start saying things like, "Oh, that's, you know, Steve."
Oh, if anybody wants to change their display names, nobody can see you, but don't feel like you have to. Nobody can see any of you guys. They can only see me on stream right now.
Yep.
Just making sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's the baseline as well, because you need to have, like, a cool title to go with it.
Right.
Yeah, I think a title and membership in an organization is a big part of it.
Yeah, because you already have these things sort of in Exandria. Where you have the what's it called? The Ashari. That could be like a specific a grand Ashari druid or something.
And
That's literally Keyleth.
So Ashari,
yeah.
so like Ashari on the path of Aramente would be like, you have the background option of Ashari already. That is something you can take as a background. But in order to gain the title of On the Path of Aramente, then you would have, that would be your prestigious title as a druid of the Ashari. So at that point, we would be tying in background access to or background prerequisite.
That's, I would say be careful with that one, only because if you're following a lifetime of a character or a period of time, being able to show up as a young fighter and then make your way into the ranks of a guard of Whiterun or something like that, and then eventually the captain of Whiterun might be its own prestige class that you didn't set out to do. You just were joining the military, took up some travel.
Right, of course. And the background prerequisite would have to be something a lot more flexible for certain ones based off of roleplay. But that's where the role-playing storyline prereq comes in, right? Like, roleplay always supersedes mechanics, in my opinion.
That's a good idea.
So long as you don't break the mechanics of the game, obviously. But, like, roleplay supersedes mechanics. That's just like a blanketed thing in my community, though, and I think most DMs subscribe to that idea. Or at least they fucking should. Yeah, I mean, Icebreaker, you're trying to say something?
Oh yeah, sorry. I was waiting for my Zoom thing. Like, you know, it lights up when you're talking. It wasn't doing that for me this time. But
no problem.
like going on the idea of like background stuff. I know you very much hate that module that you did for it, but the Odyssey of the Dragon Lords had that like epic path thing that was kind of interesting and similar to that you could kind of, not saying copy, but like emulate or just kind of use that as like a stepping stone in that direction.
Yes, that is something that I can look at as for inspiration, but the way they handled it in general was a little too, for my opinion.
Oh yeah, no, but I definitely think that is a good place that you could get some inspiration from it.
Absolutely. Okay.
To go a bit further on that, I think at least some prestige classes should have like either an alignment and or a religion requirement. So that, for example, if you're wanting to be a undead bane of the Raven Queen, like a chosen undead slayer or something, you'd have to be worshipper of the Raven Queen, and you'd have to have her alignment, or like within one step of her alignment.
Actually, that actually just inspired me with a thing, because remember how you don't watch CR, I don't believe, but like we did have a player in the community who became one as like a champion of a god, like Darkrave Dorzan became champion to the Raven Queen, and like so on and so forth. Like we could have these like this, there can only be one in the world at the time kind of situation. And that could be like a very special prestige sort of class with its own stuff.
Yeah, I'd feel like that would be making it a little bit too exclusive, I'd say. If there can only be one.
Well, no, one for the god, one for the god. So
it could also be tiered. It's a tiered system. It's like the old druidic circle system. You've got, if you're gonna join a religion, you start out as a, whatever it is, father, then priest, then bishop, then whatever, and then you make it all the way to pope. And now all of a sudden you're, in theory, the chosen of the god. So that's the nice part about prestige, is that you can pyramid it if you'd like to.
And I'm more than happy making prestige more exclusive for those high level prestiges, because like it should feel like you are one of very, very few who have reached these unobtainable goals. I mean, level 20s, like those are, in our universe, obviously I have characters that are at that level scaling, but not very many. Like, maybe like 15 across all of the worlds that are level 20. I have a shit ton that are like 16, 17, but like once you hit above that, you're entering into the realm of like you deserve a very unique title, a very prestigious ability or information that other entities don't have. And I think all of this is like very easily integrated roleplay wise into our community because I've already worked on so many different things with all of that.
Yeah.
It's just not been mechanically handed out. Yeah, Tim?
Does this even necessarily need to be a class and levels as opposed to just benefits and tiers within moving up within an organization?
Well, that's where all of the ideas are coming in. I'm not sure what the prerequisites are, but all of these so far are just the ideas for the prerequisites. And I agree, maybe not all of them should be class specific, but I feel like I need to limit things based around specific prerequisites, or else there will be incredible min-maxing that breaks the game.
Well, but an organization is going to require you to meet specific prerequisites anyways. Argon's not going to join a thieves guild. He proved that 2 weeks ago.
Well, I think he
True.
needs to prove it again.
True.
He's not going to
No.
join the wrong thieves guild. There's a
Yeah.
thieves guild out there with your name written all over it, I bet. They're the ones who give money away. They don't steal anything. They study all the time.
I don't. My only concern is multi-classing already can break things at certain times, and adding a whole nother group of classes that people dip into or take chunks of, even if you have to take the whole chunk, I just balance could become an issue with that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's
and
why I'm thinking there needs to be some kind of trade-off so that
Well,
you
so
lose certain other things from what you had before in order to gain this new ability or whatever it is.
yeah, I mean, you could do it sort of like the old alignment rule, where if you varied from your alignment, you went through a pretty heavy emotional distress time where your abilities to do stuff was hampered.
Yeah.
The lawful good paladin who did something evil went through a hard time for a while. So those aspects could be added for sure. And depending on the amount of rules and regulations of your organization that's giving you or granting you this potential prestige, you could have a ton of possible problems.
That adds to it though. If say you're become a Volstrucker and you dump 7 levels into Volstrucker and then decide you get kicked out for whatever reason,
you lose
all of a
access
sudden
to
you
all of
lose
that.
access to all of these 7 levels worth of class abilities you built up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure with the Volstruckers, if I remember Joey's lore correctly, they get like injected or something with the serum or something.
Well, yeah, there's certain things you probably would keep like that, the mutations that you get from the Volstrucker serum. But if one of your class stuff is, access to the Volstrucker vaults, you would lose that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's
And-
actually,
Yeah.
but like that's reasonable based off of roleplay. Because like, think about
Yeah.
for Argon, for instance, if Argon did something directly to harm the Lyceum, you would lose access to the Lyceum. Like they would cut you off altogether. Like even your family, your title, your name. Like it's one of those things where we hold you to such a high standard that if you go against our rules and you break anything, we need to make an example out of you, and you're removed from the organization as a whole.
Yeah. So,
But that's already something that's like I've done in my games before, and I've given people fair warning about it before as
Yeah.
well. I've had
Yeah.
people like completely go against their god, and they lost magic 100%. I mean, Tolsha in the Sunday game, she was a blood cleric to Zahir. Well, she didn't kill someone that he commanded her to kill. So she lost all of her magic, and it took like 4 or 5 sessions for her to get it back. Now, she didn't lose all access to everything, but like with prestige, it wouldn't be that dramatic, obviously. Like there's a difference between you go against your god as a cleric compared to you go against this mortal organization. Like you would just gain access to the certain benefits that you have and maybe a few of the more unique abilities that they grant you, say if it's like priesthood or something like that.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of like if you don't conduct yourself in a specific manner that coincides with the organization that you are prestiging into, you lose your benefits. And none of these would supersede your class abilities. You'd still be your class, you would just lose your prestige.
Yeah.
Quick,
I'm
so
thinking one thing that could sort of play into it is, well, to say, like, with great prestige comes great responsibility. But to say that you'd have certain duties associated with at least some of these things that would make it so that in order to actually be to become and to stay a member of this prestige class, you'd have to fulfill some kind of duty alongside adventuring, maybe, or at least as part of downtime. Could be, but it's something that would detract a little bit from what your other goals might be as a group. So that can be sort of disruptive, I suppose. But I think it makes sense too, at least.
I think it makes sense. I would be concerned about how that would work within your party, maybe at certain times.
Yeah.
Icebreaker said, I think there should be a clear difference between prestige class stuff and epic class stuff, because it sounds like they're somewhat blending in. Well, in order to gain access to your epic stuff, and this is just an idea, either you need to be 20 levels in your chosen class, which is like my original idea, or you need to be a particular prestige to move up to that epic class. Now, epic classes give you class abilities. You wouldn't lose your epic shit, you would only lose your prestige shit, you know? Like, I have no problem taking away somebody's prestige, but I don't enjoy taking away your class features unless, like, you really deserve it. Warlocks, paladins, and clerics are, well, even druids are, like, the only ones that realistically can lose their stuff through more or less mundane actions that they take, right? Like, if you're a druid who's like circle of wildlife and you go out and massacre an entire forest and ecosystem, you're losing that connection to nature, you know? Like, that ain't there anymore. So, like, that you can lose your class features, but I don't want to take away people's epic class stuff. And I'll balance the epic class around the prestige stuff.
So the way I'm understanding it, anyways, is that the prestige class, like, whereas epic levels kind of thing is more like your mechanical benefit, prestige is more of the role play aspect to that. It's more of the like you might get some mechanical stuff to it in the game, but it's more about the RP than the other stuff, right?
More or less, but it's gonna have both. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure should have both. But it leans more towards the roleplay side.
Yes.
Okay.
It might be slightly easier to balance it if you think about making the entry point level-wise equal to the number of levels in a prestige class. And what I mean by that is, say you decide that level 12 is the earliest you can enter prestige classes. Mm-hmm. All prestige classes have 8 levels. That way you do stuff like, everybody gets a capstone at level 20 as a class. Yeah. And in theory, they're supposed to be balanced by being the level 20 ability. Right. So if every prestige class has something really big at their final level, then it would make sense for everyone to get that at level 20. Just assuming that you took, 12, 15 levels, whatever you had to do in whatever mixture of classes you had to take to earn the rights to be that prestige class. And then your last set of levels is the prestige class levels. And that way you're locked into that prestige class once you start it. Because you finish out your character as that prestige class at that point.
Another idea that I just had when when you were talking about that was you could do it in a way that's kind of like a mix of what Tasha's brought in and what Pathfinder 2e has, because Pathfinder Second Edition has a thing called archetypes, but the way you'd put that here in 5e is that you like whenever there's a certain spot where you can where I would assume you would be able to choose, Joey, where you can have them trade in one of their class abilities to get this special prestige thing based off whatever it is. It's just that's just an idea though, like an optional class feature, but it's more related to the prestige than the class.
I don't want to tie your prestige to your class because then again you can lose those features if you go against it. Because like obviously if you start out as a Volstrucker, like say you start a campaign at level 8 and you're a Volstrucker, by the time you're level 12 you enter into prestige. By the time you're level 15 you find out Volstruckers are really fucked up and evil. You want to leave that organization. I don't want to take away features of your class, so I want to keep those separated. And also the way Tasha's handled that was really stupid. They made it not optional. They made it is an option to introduce these, to have these alongside the other things you have. It was just really bad. You can optionally have a lot more. That's
Okay, I was thinking of the one that actually replaces whatever it is.
There's
Yeah,
like
I see
one
what you
or
mean.
two in the entire book that actually replace. Most of them are you can have this end, which was just stupid. I like replacement effects. I don't like additive effects when it comes to classes. But okay, I want to stick with story interaction prerequisite. I think this one's pretty big.
I think that's probably the biggest,
Yes.
or most of what we've talked about so far.
Background prerequisite. I'm interested in that, but I don't think it's super necessary. Based off of organization association. I also really like that one as well. I really like that one. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I want to move forward at least right now with those two, and we can move backwards if we wish to do that beforehand. So we will do this as Duke. Nope. Go back. Why? Fucking stupid. Alrighty. So, prestige mechanics. In order to enter into a prestige, you must first be a entry member or a renowned. That's not how you spell renown. Renowned member of a organization or community. Once you are invited into the upper ranks of this organization, you gain certain perks and benefits exclusive to that group. Minimum level of 12.
Yeah, I think that sounds reasonable.
Yeah. That also
Min-
discourages a lot of multi-classes where people are like 10 level, or, you know, you go 12 levels into Spellcaster, 8 level into Rogue.
And I mean, I will say, like, what was I gonna say? It seems more like it's organizational rather than something, which is fine. It does confuse me slightly from someone who's played Pathfinder and all that.
What do you mean?
Well, it's.
Oh, just
I see where you're coming from, sort of.
yeah, because it seems more like organization. How do God? I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time explaining my thought here.
So-
I think I know what you mean, sort of, because well, not all in early like Pathfinder and stuff. Not all prestige classes are necessarily associated with a specific organization.
Or
but-
community. I mean,
Yeah, sure. But mostly they have still some very specific role to fulfill in the world, and that's usually very easily integrated into like different parts of the world. Like, yeah, for example, the air Ashari or water Ashari and stuff like that, they'd necessarily be associated with communities that are, well, that they are associated with. If you understand.
Yeah, and every town needs the guy who picks up poop. So you could have the janitorial prestige class.
Yeah, expert excrement expeditor.
Yep.
yeah. So I think
Doubler +2.
Icebreaker, I think you're focusing on the word organization a little too much, because like you could become a prestige folk hero, right? Like someone who you helped, for instance, the bi-weekly game, you helped Pheolin so fucking much that you are going to gain access to a prestigious title with prestigious abilities, but it's not based off of an organization. It's based around you being an actual folk hero. This song's great.
You could call it a faction.
Or like going off folk hero, you could make one called like philanthropist or something, or
Yeah, like there's other ways to gain access to these outside of just that. So try to focus a little less on the organization aspect of it and more on the intent of it, because we can change our wording and everything. The Wisp Collective. Yeah, that's a name drop.
That's a good one, though.
It is, yeah.
Good example.
Of course, the Wisp Collective's minimum requirements are much higher than most other ones. Grinners, Lyceum member.
I think that's
Yeah.
with a C. By the way.
You're correct.
Just the grammar Nazi in me, you know.
No. Yeah, fucking correct me on that shit, dude. I
yeah,
hate
no,
that.
that's more like spell check. But I mean, I can already see it for Lyceum members. Like it's literally just you start as a student, then become professor, then become headmaster for the capstone thing.
Yeah. Grinners and Golden Grin, aren't they the same? Am I completely off there?
Nope, they are different.
All right.
Clovis Concord. Oh, yeah.
It is C.
Mm-hmm.
And you have like every church, I'd say, too, would have some kind of prestigious.
Every church.
Yeah, basically.
Wait. How do we know which churches exactly?
Every.
Like? But I need to know the names and
Yes.
locations of all of them.
Any groups or organizations I'm missing from just EXANDRIA at this point? Prevalent ones.
Volstruckers?
Volstruckers, thank you.
I mean, that is a popular like thing in the recent games, I will say. It just in
And-
regards to. Oh.
Yeah, you could have
And
the Griffin Riders of the Empire.
Griffin Riders. League of Miracles. Hi, Forger. How are you? I don't know what the fuck that is. But I don't think that's canonically in our universe anyways yet.
Oh yeah, that one is in the new. Think of it at like the Tal'Dorei version of Cerberus Assembly, but less about being, like the what's that German secret police, the Nazi secret police, the
SS.
KGB.
that's
KGB
Russian.
is Russian.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
the SS.
yeah, but
Yeah,
essentially, like, if the Volstruckers were the SS or KGB, the League of Miracles would be capitalism.
Oh,
mages.
okay. That came out after we already started building our community and made our own changes to our living universe. Our version of that is the Whisk Collective.
Fair enough.
Yeah. The behind the scenes, we kind of run things like this.
There is a sort of subsection of that, the one sort of small organization thing that Mary started. The Dissonance.
I think
Oh,
they're
I'm-
small enough that I wouldn't want to add them in here, but thank you for reminding me about roguish organizations. The Clasp. And what's the other evil one again?
Myriad.
Myriad. Thank you.
Miriam.
No, actually, no. I just realized a trend here too. like,
MY.
so they can be
Yeah.
like the prestige class things that we're doing. They can be separated into like this one. Like all that's listed here is
The
is
Revelry. Yes, thank you. Sorry.
is
Yeah.
faction based, but then you could have the other ones where it's the intent of the player. Like Joe, you mentioned folk hero before, so like they could be like ultimate folk hero or maybe folk legend might be a better title for that. Or like if you're thinking about
I like that.
what's the gnome everyone hates, the nature
Tilly.
one. Why it's Tilly's organization thing is like that's for the faction wise.
The Annoyers.
Eco-terrorist.
Well, yeah, her faction would probably be one of the prestige things, but more specifically, like it could be the intent, as in like world preserver kind of thing.
That,
Druid
that's not
extremist.
that's not a group though. That's
Well,
just
Well, but it's not a group, but it's a style
the intent
of play.
what they're doing. Yes, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like the folk legend is not a group of. I mean, maybe it is a group of individuals who like, hello, I've saved many a town, and they come together and they sponsor one another.
Right.
Weekly drinks to stay fresh. Cerberus Assembly, no. Cobalt Soul, yes. Cerberus Assembly might be like assembly member, might be the prestigious benefit that you gain by being, say, a Volstrucker within, a community for so long. Cobalt Soul, absolutely. Members of the Cobalt Soul need to have their prestigious lineage outlined for them. Shit, there's just so many of them.
Druid circles.
That's why I was mentioning like we split it off into certain kind of like categories. Like there's the factional based prestige things, and then there's like the intent based and etc.
Druidic circles, that's a good one. Because Ashari are not necessarily druids.
I'm thinking there might be, like, this would be not so much oriented towards faction, I suppose, but like, say you have an archmage or archwizard prestige class that's available to wizards specifically without having a clear association with either the Lyceum or the Cerberus Assembly, sort of, but a specific type of wizard who's interested in, who's extra specialized towards one kind of magic or some kind, maybe.
So what would we name somebody who discovers new magic or crafts new magic? What would be like a entry point title for somebody like that? Because I like that idea.
Arcane progenitor.
Or
That would be more of the prestige title itself. Like
Okay, I thought that's what you were looking for.
a heretic, yes.
prodigy, sort of.
Prodigy. Okay. Spellcrafter. somebody who begins crafting unique spells, and you gain certain knowledges and benefits from all of this. Ooh, having people focus on just one of these at a time might be difficult for certain people. I don't know, Argon, would you focus more on being a Lyceum member or a spellcrafter at this point?
Oh, I don't know. That's a tough call.
Yeah.
I would have to decide. Depends upon what I want my siblings to do. Otherwise, whether I want to take over my siblings' inheritance.
A Kobold Soul faction or organization in your universe? God damn it, no.
It's
Is
like
there-
the Cobalt Soul, except they're kobolds that think they know what the Cobalt Soul is, and so they made their own version of it.
Do you
Don't
have any
branch.
organizations that deal with all of the planar travel in your universe?
Yes. Out of character knowledge right at
Right,
this
out
point.
of character. Yeah, I'm
Whisk
just thinking as a
Collective.
group.
Whisk Collective.
Oh, okay.
That is who handles that.
Okay.
Yeah, the Whisk
was-
Collective has ties to every plane of existence.
Yeah, but what if I was gonna say like Planeswalker would be a cool title for that one, but also that would be kind
Well,
of
that would be their prestige title, the Planeswalker. You're not the person that they just. You're not the person who's super powerful localized to one universe. You're so powerful that they send you to go help out others. The Planeswalker. Alrighty. So
The way
yeah.
I'm sort of seeing it is, like, if you don't want to make like a specific class for each and every one of these, you could do it sort of in the way that you've handled the what you call it, the benefits you gain from being like a worshiper or a devotee of different religions. That you gain sort of that kind of ability, maybe a little bit stronger, and with certain
Definitely
more, with certain more, well, attachments to it.
Yeah, more rules that you have to follow, but larger benefit as well. And again, you could always just not dedicate into this if you choose not. Like, this is all 100% optional.
Oh, I know. Here's a good. This one's another more intent one, but just like a rebel or a rabble route. Like literally, like you don't intend to like join things. You intend to just like break the status quo sort of thing.
Trendsetter.
Well, that's not trendsetter. It's like literally like you are just against the system sort of thing.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, that
Anarchist.
Oh, yes, that
Anarchist.
works too.
Yo, I love anarchy. I love me some anarchy.
Arch anarchist.
Yeah, that'd be a fun little prestige thing, and also chaotic as well. And actually, now that does
That looks
make
wrong.
me.
That looks wrong.
No, that's right.
It just looks wrong.
It does. That actually does remind me of another thing too. Maybe cult leader or something.
Well, that would be tied into all of the religions, not typing them out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say that's.
Yeah, because cults are religions, just usually less recognized by the local governments.
Usually, they're all.
Alrighty. So,
Well, as an opposition to the anarchist, you could have like an axiomite.
Oh yeah, like a.
see, I'm not even going to try to spell that word, so I'm not going to use it.
AXIOTIT.
No. See, there's a fundamental problem with that, and that is syllables.
No, but
It's
like
4 syllables.
I do like that idea that like whereas there's the anarchist, there's the exact opposite of that, which is like the one who wants to bring law and order. to
Let's
everyone,
be
like, not-
honest. If there's somebody like that, they're going to fit into one of these organizations.
Yep.
That's fair.
Yeah, because somebody who wants to uphold the law, whose law organization? There we go.
Oh well, no, that actually brings up the point, because as I mentioned with the anarchist, that's more of the intent, whereas this one, sure, they're probably part of an organization, but it's more of as long as there is some sort of law and order, there could be someone else's kind of thing.
I don't see anybody who's lawful playing like that.
Yeah, that's true. Usually, lawful people are really into themselves,
Into themselves. Lawful?
I mean, like they're when I mean into themselves, you know what I mean? Like
I don't, because that seems exactly opposite of like lawful would not
Yeah,
necessarily
Like
be
they
narcissistic.
think they know better than everyone because of what they believe in.
Oh,
what I mean.
well, if there's a law and they're upholding it, they're just regurgitating what they're following, so they
Fair.
do know better. In
Yeah,
theory.
I was also like poking fun at
I know.
Il One's character.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
unfortunately, you were also poking fun at Otis's character.
Yeah, of all of my characters and my personal being. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's like hitting 3 birds with one thing.
Insult.
Oh.
All right. So let's start with one of these. Which one do we think, as a group, we have the most information on? I'm leaning towards Lyceum member. I'm leaning towards Volstrucker. I'm leaning towards folk legend. And I'm leaning towards not Clovis, the Whisk Collective. Which one do we think, as a group, we have the most like knowledge on?
I think those are exactly correct.
I mean, in terms of the Lyceum, though, I think there should be like so that not every Lyceum member has that kind of extra level of prestige about them, but you could call it like a Lyceum adept or something. That's like...
Each of the prestige levels are gonna have one of those little titles. That's one thing I'm gonna make. Like, hi, I'm a Lyceum student. You are no longer a student once you hit level 12 and you've graduated. You become a Lyceum member.
Right.
And I think some of them should be sort of stupid. Like the Slayer's take should basically be like you get a patch to begin with, and then later you get a card that you can keep in your, or you get a mug with your name on it and their logo.
Wait. You think that's stupid?
Well,
Yes.
I'm just saying, and compared to other things.
I don't know. I think Brosca would love that.
Exactly. That's the
Christian
thing.
mug. We
Oh,
forgot
my
Vox
name on
Machina
it.
Incorporated, by the way.
I just got an idea that I should have a character who creates monsters and make an organization called the Slayers Give.
Yeah, Slayer Support League.
Hey guys, try to kill this one. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you would classify as the inventor. Good suggestion, just for Jimmy. And Lily.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So, which one of those did we want to start with? The Whisk Collective, the Lyceum member, the
think-
Volstrucker, or the Folk Legend?
I think Lyceum member would be the best, the one most, prevalent right now.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So we're starting with Lyceum member.
Yeah, because no one really likes the Volstruckers.
And also, the Volstruckers are a lot more secretive organization, so it makes a lot of sense as well.
Isn't there multiple campaigns currently hunting Volstruckers?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly 3. Oh.
Yeah, I was about to say.
To be fair, at least for ours, it wasn't so much that we were specifically hunting them, except that one time. It was more
they
of we
just
just
got
keep
in our
coming
way.
across. Yeah, they were kind of going, and then they're like, "Oh, you killed this previous vulture." It's like, "Yeah, dude, we'll leave you alone. Chill."
Yeah.
It's like,
Hey,
"Nope,
we just
alright."
want to go on a tour through the Empire. Why do you keep putting all these Volstruckers in front of us?
We didn't technically start hunting Volstruckers either. We just kind of pissed off the leader and
Oh,
kept
yeah.
sending them after us. Which reminds me, I need to send a message to one of the other game.
Oh, they're waiting to send you guys a message until you catch up to
yeah.
their time span as well.
Oh yeah, we have something to tell you, but not right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to
In 2
send a
weeks.
message about the one that we found out about last night to see if they know anything about him.
Yeah. Woo. I don't know if y'all were watching last night or not, but they just they were introduced to 2 new Volstruckers who, well, spoiler, were in Iman.
Mhm. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Seems sketchy.
6th level.
What, that
So-
Volstrucker's only 6th level? Well, never mind.
Oh, I was
Just go
looking
after
at
him tomorrow,
what
then.
level spell slots you have at level 12.
You mean 6 levels of
Lyceum.
Volstrucker, so he's at minimum
Oh,
level
okay.
18.
Level 18. That sounds more likely.
Yeah.
Students of the Lyceum are trained in traditional magics up until the class year of 6. Sorry,
Oh,
5th.
one thing that could be an idea to add to like as give them like a bonus in it is like
Or
one of the initial mechanical benefits would be like they either get proficiency in history or like religion or language or something. It's an idea.
Wouldn't it be 6th level spells for level 12?
well, you would have knowledge on. So, all right, let me just continue typing what I'm thinking. Students
Yeah.
of Lyceum are trained in traditional magics up until the class year of 5th, ability to cast 5th level spells. Once you graduate. Nope. In order to graduate, however, you must discover your own means of gathering arcane knowledges in the world. Learning higher tiers of magic and unlocking 6th level spells. So that's your prerequisite. You have to unlock 6th level spells and then
Make some kind of arcane discovery, basically.
Just a quick plot hole though, at least for the previous campaign, was Prissa was a student for like a good chunk of time, and she didn't know 5th level spells.
well, that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
don't look at it as the American education system because that's just fucking
Oh,
stupid.
jeez.
Look at it as old education systems. You were a student until you learned this information. Like, you could be a student for 10, 15 years, or you could be a student for 5 years, like, depending on your own aptitude for it. So, like, there's some people at the Lyceum who've been at the Lyceum for 15 years. You know, they're not as smart, but they are progressing. And then there's certain people who were a student for 2 years, and now, fuck you, bitches, I know 7th level spells. Like,
I mean, if that's the case, I would probably just rephrase that slightly to like.
oh,
students
I'm
of,
going to
like-
rephrase everything, but I'm not worried about that while the idea is fresh in my mind.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Discovered new arcane knowledges you can
I have an idea that I think could be fun to like add into that. So, instead of necessarily making it a discovery, you could call it like an arcane theory. So that to make it sort of like a bit more academical in nature.
I want to
Uh,
stick to discovery over theory because theory means you have the idea that this could be. Discovery means you have discovered that this is true.
Yeah, but I'm sort of thinking of theory in the scientific sense here. So that, say, you have the arcane theory of gravitheurges, or gravitheurgy. To
Wait,
sort of like make it sort of like the fantasy equivalent of modern science.
All right, that's a little fair, but I think would just have to be a bit more flexible with this then.
Right.
So, students at Lyceum are trained in traditional magics up until the class year of 5, ability to cast 5th level spells. In order to graduate, however, you must discover your own means of gathering arcane knowledges in the world, learning higher tiers of magic and unlocking 6th level spells. Once you have discovered new arcane knowledges, you can present them to the professors and gain the title of Lyceum member. That is the prestige. You are now a Lyceum member. Benefits. All right. So, what benefits do you gain?
Fancy new robes.
Custom styled robes with particular
Enchantments.
no
And
particular arcane knowledge design patterns.
Also, lots of pockets.
Members' robes that give you access to arcane knowledges of your specific study, as
Distinguished
well
review.
as specific study.
Distinguished member. You become a members only. Sorry, it's an 80s joke, I guess.
I know what
I'd
members
say
only
you could-
jackets are.
Thanks,
You
man.
could kind of like flare it, so that the baseline benefit come from the robes, and they are essentially what shows off your prestige. So
Right.
that, for example, you have like the basic background things that you get at first level, like for example, knights. They will be treated as nobles and such by the general populace. But like for example, this could be that any wizard or people who are trained in arcane magics and such will know that you are like a step above them, that you are kind of an authority in it.
Well, and I also think it means if you want the benefit, you've got to advertise that you're a member of the Lyceum. There is no
Right.
there is no hiding who you are if you want the benefit of what these robes give you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, because like right now, Argon rarely wears his.
Literally
You
put them
know,
on for the
should.
first time
Right. So
in like a
Yeah.
year.
yeah. So yeah,
So-
if you really want to advertise that, you're gonna have to advertise that you're a member of the Lyceum and everything positive and negative that comes with that.
So, benefits: members' robes that give you access to arcane knowledges of your specific study, knowledges and tomes of your specific study. So, if you're an enchantment wizard, they will give you access to very high tier enchantment stuff once you're a Lyceum member. Robes grant a +1 to saving throws and AC, no attunement required. Robes give anyone wearing them access to teleport into the Lyceum freely. All
How
of these are
about,
benefits that have already been introduced based around these robes. Good?
Right. Okay. Now I was just thinking that the robes might have maybe had an effect that was more oriented towards wizards, so that instead of like the +1 to saving throws and AC, you'd have
Without
like...
counting his armor.
Oh, okay. Well,
And
sure,
no
yeah, that's
attunement
good.
required.
But
Because
that
wizards
it-
always
they-
suck up their attunement slots.
yeah, of course. But that instead it could have like a slight bonus to concentration checks or that kind of thing.
Did you say wizards suck up their attunement slots?
You're the only one who doesn't, dude.
Fuck, I am playing my Blade Singer wrong. I swear.
Wait, what items do you have that you don't use attunement slots?
I don't.
He
I
doesn't
just have a
attune to
sword.
shit. Yeah. He doesn't
I
go
just got
out
a
looking
sword.
for powerful shit. He just does his shit.
We just do stuff. We've never come across. I didn't even have. God, I didn't have any spells until 9th level. I had about, the half a dozen or so that you get for free sort of thing. But we finally found a spell book and bought a few. At one point, but we were busy doing hero stuff. Again, folk hero.
I used an attunement slot for multiple levels on a chair that let me float, and I thought that was the only thing it did.
Yeah. Not everybody min-maxes Icebreaker. Come on now.
Hey, I am not a min-maxer unless you kill off my character.
All right, so this is the base level Lyceum member. You need to be trained in 5th level spellcasting. In order to graduate, you have to go out, learn arcane knowledges of 6th level independently of the Lyceum. as well as make an arcane discovery or thesis that revolutionizes magic, unlocking 6th level, and then doing a presentation to your professors in order to gain the title Lyceum member. The benefits are the robes specific to you that give you access to arcane knowledges and tombs of your specific study. Robes grant a +1 to saving throws and AC, no attunement required. Robes give anyone wearing them access to teleport into the Lyceum freely. Those are good benefits for just earning the title of Lyceum member. Yes?
Yes.
If I might make just a suggestion, like being able to get 5th level spells is rather harsh because you have to be all the way at level 9 to get that. Just knock it down by 1 level, so like 4th level, because that's honestly when you're at 4th level, you're like a seasoned sort of adventurer, quote unquote.
Well, for an adventure, yes, but this is for a college. They have much higher standards.
Yeah.
I
don't
silly?
think 5th is good.
5th is where you have knowledges that, like, it is very uncommon to find people who have access to that. You have the ability to cast spells that you are very uncommon. Not impossible, but very uncommon. And then that 6th level, like, you can graduate knowing 5th level, but to become a Lyceum member, meaning go back to the college and gaining access to all this stuff, you need to pursue beyond that knowledge independently 6th level.
Yeah.
And it is supposed to be harsh to be able to, like, graduate from the Lyceum. Like, you're a student until you're done learning. Like, you have to think these are the highest level of academics in the entire realms, right? You never stop being an academic if you're an academic. You just always keep pursuing. So 5th level is not that high when they know there's potential for 9th.
Kind of on this subject also, I know that we mentioned the possibility of starting at 12th and giving a perk all the way to 20. That seems like a shit ton of work. And
I don't think it needs to be a perk every.
No, I think it should
level.
just be like 12, 16, and 20. Just 3 perks is probably plenty, and that's
So 3 titles, 3 perks for each of them starting at level 12.
yeah.
Okay.
I think that seems fair enough.
So Lyceum student turns into Lyceum member, turns into
Assume master.
well, the next one might even just be considered Lyceum professor. You are knowledgeable enough about your particular class of Arcana that you are the go-to individual for people to pursue knowledge from.
and to do that, you got to be published.
Yeah.
You have to have an accepted book and a thing, but you get access to the free cafeteria that's the teacher lounge.
That's nice. That's a good benefit. That's a good
Uh-huh.
benefit.
And you get a pin a clasp
So-
for your robe.
Because your character is specifically invested into the Lyceum member, Tim, your character is a Lyceum member already. You've role-played through all of this. Like, you presented, you're there. What do you think would be the solid level 16 benefit? Like, the title of the 16. Because, like, professor is one thing, but maybe there's something else.
Yeah, professor's one option. I just don't know that. Try to think of anything other than Archmage.
Maestro.
Well, actually, at level 16, do you have access to 8th level spells? Yes.
Yes.
Wizards 112.
You're one level short of 9th level spells at 16.
Right.
Though to remember, but before you do it to 16th level, remember 16th level is an ASI for most classes. I don't know that you want to give a double benefit, but it's up to you.
Maybe 17 then, but 17 gives you access
It's
to
9th. Yeah.
So 12 also gives you an ASI, right?
12 is an ASI. 14 is the only one that doesn't give you something, because 15 gives you. Well, 14 is the class feature for wizards. That's where I got the look through timelines. 15th is 8th level spells. 16th is ASI. So I guess 16th is probably the safest bet, because I think that's less powerful than another level of spells.
And again, I don't think that the prestige class should grant you huge boons of physical power and development. I think they should be granting us.
Well, that's true. That's a fair point.
You know, again, like I said, access to the teacher lounge, things that are again, all this stuff is sort of made beneficial and exceptional, not for the +1 to saving throws, AC, things like that. That's swell, but moreover, it's the role-playing aspect of it.
Yeah.
So you could do professor, because you could have multiple professors in a school, and maybe
for the Lyceum in particular, yeah,
right,
yeah,
and maybe your highest level would be, head of the department at that point.
Department head or dean.
Archmage of X.
Yeah, Archmage of Illusions or Archmage of whatever
Professor
would be your highest level.
I'd say I kind of this is just like a very small thing, but I think Archwizard sounds better.
I'm fine with Archwizard, yes. I just want Arch somewhere in my title.
Yeah. Or it could be High Mage or High Wizard.
Well, no, that's for the ones that are getting into the reefer.
Yeah. We have those too.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm thinking that like you would get, well, maybe the thing I'd say, because there should be some mechanical benefit as well as the story thing. So let's say you have these robes as the baseline, and as you sort of progress, they get upgraded slightly.
That was one thing I was going to keep congruent as you keep leveling up.
Right. So it's sort of tied into one specific aspect of the prestige class, in this case, the robes. And then, so once you first get initiated into to being a Lyceum member, you gain also, for story reasons, more access to sort of the Lyceum's secrets, at least some of them, and then you gain higher levels of trust, basically, as you progress.
The access to more restricted knowledge.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Kind of the research that I'm starting to do now for the stuff we're doing.
Right. So it can be also like an additive. So the robe is robe when you first get it. Then you get the Lyceum sash that complements and goes with the robe.
What's the thing they put over the graduation robes for professors at college?
Yeah,
There's a term for that. I don't remember what the name of it is.
Somebody Google, please. I'm in the middle of typing.
I was jokingly gonna think of like the graduation hat, the one that's like a square.
I was also thinking that you have to go around with this square hat all the time to get into this.
If you think I won't wear a hat, stole.
Stole
Is what they're called.
it.
They're called stoles. So yeah, maybe you get your professor's stole that gets.
Well, the stoles are already on your character because you graduate, you get robes, right? All graduates have robes, but you have your stole already. We already that was what I meant about the outline of the hourglass going over. That was your stole. I just didn't know the word for it.
Yeah. Apparently, none of us.
Yeah, I didn't graduate college.
Me either. Tried to go be a rock
regalia.
I mean, one way of this could be maybe a little bit too powerful, maybe. But one way of doing it simply, if you want to have the progression thing of the item, you could tie it into the not attunements, but what's it called? Augments. So that once you first gain it, you have one augment put into it, and then second time you get another somewhat stronger augment, and then so it's like a unique item that has potentially 3 augments once you've reached the last.
I don't want to tie this into the augmentation system, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, sure.
Because the augmentation system has a tremendous amount of flaws that I'm currently working on.
So you could do the other way, where it grants you AC for the first one, and then it grants you AC and saving throws at the second level, and then another plus at 20.
I'd say it should be something that ties specifically into spellcasting, so that, for example, it gives you at the last tier, it could be like advantage on concentration saves, or something along those lines. It could give you like an extra cantrip or something, or the ability to regain first level spell slots on a short rest or something like that.
Well, so if you're going to replace the wizard levels, one of the things you gain as you get higher in wizard is the ability to do some of your lower level spells once a day without a spell slot.
Right.
So you could give them the ability to do like a first or second level spell once a day without a spell slot, or basically like a small spell storing ability in it.
Yeah, or it could be something that ties towards material components, so that like you don't have to like material components that are worth less than 200 gold or something. You don't have to worry about something like that.
Funny. At level 20, it comes with an automatic diamond grinder.
Yeah.
So you just
It becomes a robe of many pockets, and it just happens to contain all sorts of random spell components whenever you need it. Oh, look, I need 25 gold of diamond dust. Pocket one.
Yeah.
But what's nice about that thing is you can drop any diamond in it, and within minutes they're pre-ground for you.
Yeah.
So
Pre-grinding pockets. You know, as any fucking like professor or college student would say, you'd probably just drop like coffee beans in there, and
well, yeah, you could use that for that too.
You can use coffee grounds as a supplement for any spell component.
But again, so it's a prestige class. So in theory, they'd feel like these are the robes that they've been working so hard for all these years. So it's like your Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I have to create a magic item.
a very rare quality.
We've already done like 10.
No, he has to create one, a brand new one.
Yeah, I'd have to make one, which means I would need a crafting ability.
That's
No,
silly.
you can create magical items just by being a wizard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you would just need somebody else to make the crafted items masterwork quality so that you can work with them. Luckily, you have a forge room, so
I know
That's
a
true.
guy.
yeah, you literally go forge room. I need, and he'll just bring out an entire fucking bag worth of like like
Maybe I finally need to make this. Maybe I finally need to make a staff out of that dragon
Ding, ding,
spine we've been carrying around for forever.
I have a suggestion that I think makes a lot of sense, because at this point you're already you're a master wizard and you're a professor. You need an assistant. You need an apprentice. So you get like a kind of low level wizard apprentice student who accompanies you and does minor tasks for you, and sort of like what is it called again? Retinue? No.
Squire.
Apprentice? Yeah,
Wait.
not squire, but
There is a term for it in the game.
yeah.
What are they called?
Yeah, what's it called again? I used to have
Talking
them
about
as
like
Sir
serfs,
Uric.
or you're talking about your entourage?
That'd be Squire. That would be Squire.
No, there's a different
No,
term.
not
I know
squire.
exactly.
Hirelings or
Is
followers?
it hirelings?
Hirelings are like people that you hire. These
Yeah,
you're talking
there
about
is one.
followers. They used to be called.
It's
Maybe it is followers I'm thinking of.
You should have Keston from the Saturday game be your follower. He'd do it.
it's something you gain from, I think it's this knight background, is that it? Let me double check.
We just had our character in Tuesday kind of do that.
Totally do that.
No, Capriccio.
Yeah, Capriccio now is the
Retainer.
Oh yes,
Retainer.
Yeah, that's the word.
Oh, that's powerful.
So this would be sort of like a low-level NPC that you have some responsibility for and actually need to try and teach as well.
So, prerequisites for Lyceum Professor, level 16. Prerequisite: your knowledge has expanded into a realm few have come close to. You not only understand the spells of 8th level, but have created your own revolutionary magic item of very rare quality. Benefits: your robes gain an additional regalia to distinguish you, and a +1 to armor class. In addition, the secret library, accessible only to other professors, are opened up to you, and you can channel your robes to cast a teleportation spell centered on you, only to go to the Lyceum. Once you use this feature, you must gain access to this spell by requesting it from the head master before you can do it again. So the recharge isn't even like each day at dawn. It is the headmaster has to say, why the hell did you do that? Was it an actual emergency or did you just fuck around? Well, fuck you. You can't do it again. You know, like... Don't use our emergency entrance unless it's an emergency.
I think to go back to the idea you talked about with the retainer, I think that's a good thing to become the head. That you have got to take on a retainer and train them high enough level to be able to graduate in the Lyceum.
As a prerequisite?
Yeah.
As a prerequisite to becoming the Lyceum Arch Wizard, or whatever we wanted to call it. So in order to become the Arch Wizard of necromancy, you have got to train someone to become a graduate of the necromancy school of the Lyceum. Because if you haven't actually trained someone, you probably shouldn't be the head of the department.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
If you're gonna like call it like professor as a title, then you're entire
Right. So once you become a professor, if you want to progress beyond professor, you need to actually take on a student.
I was going to say, yeah, one of the other benefits or perhaps flaw at professor level is, 50% chance of
Your student dying.
Well, I was going to say
There's a much higher than that chance, let's be real.
of a student or of a follower showing up.
You get a
Just by-
level 1 wizard with 10 constitution.
Oh no! 8.
And you're required on their first day to spend every spell slot you can on polymorph in
Hello,
order to
Max.
do the
Thank you.
training montage.
Just
Yeah.
don't do Grand Wizard. No, we're not doing Grand Wizard.
If anything, Grand Vizier for the
Ugh.
political campaigns.
Oh Jesus!
Vizier sounds more sinister.
It does.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
that
for
would
those
be
political
that would
campaigns.
be the Cerberus Assembly counter. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do Wizard Supreme either. It sounds like a Taco Bell order.
Wizard Supreme.
All right, guys. I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I
Same
will
here.
keep thinking of names that sound like food but are just titles.
Wizard Grande. Oh yeah, we already had Wizard Grande. Oh, we do Wizard Grande instead of Grand Wizard.
Mm.
Can't hear myself think through the crashing of the rain. I'm passing judgment in the fast lane. And smoothing
Deluxe Wizard.
guess it comes with age. You start
Deluxe Wizard.
the time theft. How much of it you got left? Comes in with the age now.
I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
suitcase and we beat the birds down to Acapulco Bay or Honolulu on hearsay, running at our own pace. And I'll be on your side when the dreams run dry. When the dreams run dry, I will be where I always was, standing at your side, letting go of the reins. Reach for the summit of an ancient design, on the verge of eternal, on the heels of divine.
Alrighty. I did like the idea of you have to have a student in order to turn into Archmage.
Thought you were about to say you'd mentored a stupid.
Yes. You have mentored a student.
A stupid
mean-
NPC.
I was gonna say, let's be honest. Most professors would call their student that probably at first.
So are we thinking of this as like an extra prerequisite in order to get to the next tier? Or
This is the
I think-
prerequisite to unlock that tier that you need. So,
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not, yeah.
So do all these replace the levels that you would gain in the class?
no. All of these
Okay,
are
so
alongside
these are
it.
additioned. Okay.
Yes.
That was my question.
Yeah.
So like I could hit level 20, but if I haven't fulfilled this part yet, I would still just be level 20 and I'd have to work as a level 20 for a while until I hit the requirements for Archmage.
Correct.
So like right now I am level 16, but I have not fulfilled the requirements to become a professor.
Correct.
I have done member. We had a whole arc with that.
Exactly. Yeah, you're definitely a member. Even though you are level 16, that is the prerequisite. You can gain it
Right.
later on, like 17 or 18, but you have to be aspiring towards doing that in order to gain the benefits of that prestige.
Right. Which makes sense.
If there is already an archmage in your particular tradition, then a
Duel
battle
to the death.
of knowledge and combat prowess.
Seriously?
For you to take that title from them. Yeah. But you have to think, as of now, there's only I'm probably spacing, but 3 archmages of a particular tradition in my universe. Most traditions don't have an archmage yet. Yeah, I have an archmage of necromancy. So
Illusion.
illusion. Yes, thank you. And I have an archmage of enchantment. Those are the only 3 schools that I actually have a canonical archmage. Now I have professors and I have a bunch of other individuals. But yeah.
Don't worry, Joey. My next character, I'll make them the Archmage of Divination.
Well, you're gonna have to earn that. Oh yeah, Argon, in case you were curious, your mother is actually the Archmage of Enchantment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Why do you
the
think
most
people are
evil
so
magic.
terrified of her? Yeah, it's the most evil. Why do you think she single-handedly took out many different warships at the bottom of the fucking Tal'Dorei Gulf? Like,
Or maybe
she got onto
just
the
used
ship and
her-
said, "You kill him, you kill him, you kill each other," and they okay, it just.
Or
Well,
maybe she
may-
just used her magic to persuade everyone to believe that she took care of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that,
never know.
or like, probably more likely she did the more like a mass version of Enemies Abound sort of thing, where they thought that the other ships were enemies.
Yeah,
So,
that's
you
a
know.
really good spell.
Oh, it's an amazing spell. All right,
Yeah.
so that is the prerequisite. You have mentored a student far enough along for them to have graduated from the Lyceum and have access to 9th level spells. If there is already an Archmage in your particular tradition, then a battle of knowledge and combat prowess must be had for you to take that title from them. And yes, combat prowess is very important to Archmages. You are the keeper and you are the holder of all of the knowledges of your tradition. You are the entire textbook of the most dangerous magics in your tradition. So yes, you need to be able to defend that in order to earn that title. Can't just be a
Mortal Kombat.
bookworm. You can't just be a bookworm in order to be an archmage. You gotta
Gotta
have
put
prowess.
some ASIs and some strength, you know.
Yeah. Oh, Thunderbrand's
Get
coming
those-
along.
Oh yeah, Thunderbrand's got those gains.
Yeah. Knowledge,
He's
he's,
like-
really good at. Combat prowess, he's unrivaled.
I'm still
Likeability,
thinking-
he's also pretty good at it.
What are you thinking?
I'm still thinking that you should have, as part of becoming a Lyceum member or at least reaching that higher tier, that you should, well, not already have that student under your charge, but that you gain access, or not gain access to, but that you gain an apprentice, basically.
So as a benefit of Lyceum Professor?
Yeah.
Mm.
It's a helpful NPC of some low level skill that's actually helpful.
Okay, so
Yeah, because I don't think the Lyceum would want you just picking up somebody off the street. It's got to be
No.
someone that's gone through their vetting process.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe you get to pick and choose from some of the more promising members,
Yeah,
of like
Someone-
first and second level students.
yeah. And they can like do your spell transcriptions for you or stuff like that, and you have to like be in charge of teaching them stuff as well. Sort of, but that can be done as part of rests and like short rests, long rests, and downtime and stuff.
We are already so busy in downtime, it's ridiculous.
I know. I could actually do about 3 sessions of downtime at this point.
Yeah.
to a student who aspires to
I
learn.
mean, I wish my character got downtime.
To make your, if you add the staff to Fordrum's construction list right now, that brings us up to 9. I need 9 weeks to get.
Well, I
everybody-
need you just to build the staff itself. I have
Right.
to do all the hard work.
Yeah.
But really long time. You just need to make a masterwork staff.
Oh well, that's probably but
Because I have to do all the enchanting. I can't let you do the enchanting.
right. So then the masterwork staff for me, I think that's like 3 hours,
Yeah.
4 hours.
So the staff for you, but it's probably going, but I don't have your benefits for making a very rare.
No,
So it's what is it? 20 weeks for 25 weeks for a very rare?
We just looked it up yesterday, and so 5, 10, 20. It's 20 weeks.
Yeah. Which is, I'm going to have to do the 20 weeks
Yeah.
because I don't have your feats
Right.
to speed that up.
Yeah.
Ooh, they could do rituals for me.
Yep. Hey guys, can we identify stuff and give it to Mitch?
Give it to Mitch. Just going to start dropping stuff off at his room. Here, Mitch.
Reading a book and be like,
Yeah.
go cast the house.
He can conduct the ritual for you. You, of course, have to finish the ritual, but he can at least create and conduct it for you. So the ritual time to cast, he can cover, but you still have to do the actual casting time.
Yes.
I think that's a pretty good benefit, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, is Professor too strong?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, the teleportation is super limiting unless you gain access to do it again. So you literally have to use it when it's like a serious situation. Question
you
for
can
you,
put-
Joey. Since I see some of this is level 12, for those who are already that level, do they get the option to obtain them? Respect to get it. Awesomeness, I have no idea who you are. I apologize. I know you're somebody in our community. However, role-playing storyline prereq for characters. This is in addition to everything you do with your normal class system. This is stuff you gain on top of all of that. So if you have role-played storyline-wise to gain access to this, then yes, you've already role-played. We can redact that you have it. Like, because we're constructing Lyceum right now, Tim's character, Argon, is going to gain access to Lyceum member because he's already role-played through all of this. So he is clearly already a member. However, people can't start their characters off as prestige. You have to earn this through roleplay, no exceptions. So even if you jump into a campaign level 16, you still have to roleplay becoming a Lyceum member in order to do so. I hope that answers your question. What the hell is this song?
At some point, should you get access to a base of operations within the Lyceum? Or is that, I mean, technically I have a room there now.
I'd say
but
that sort
was-
of comes with the territory that you
Yeah.
have access to the Lyceum's facilities.
All
think what
students
there's-
at a minimum have access to their facilities. So
Right, they have like a room and
yeah. God, I need new music.
but I know like my sister has a house.
Well, that's because she's a professor who actively
Oh, okay.
teaches there. They
Oh,
don't
that's
just
a fair
willy-nilly
point.
give that to you. She
That's a fair
lives
point.
on
She works
campus
there.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
have
if
time
you want
for
something
that.
like that, just stop adventuring. That's all.
Yeah.
But she can't be
How
a
do you
real
know
wizard
that
if she has a house. She needs to have a tower. That's what wizards live in.
Right.
I mean,
how do you know
everyone's
that?
not wrong.
How do you know that your little marvelous mansion that you cast doesn't just apparate into a physical house when you're in the Lyceum space?
There is a spell for that, actually. There's an 8th level spell that does that, but I don't remember what it is. There's one that can create a permanent house.
Oh, is that the fortress one?
Yeah, Mighty Fortress. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. I mean, Prissa made one of those in I can't remember the name of the town, but it was from last campaign or in the epilogue.
Yeah, Mighty Fortress.
Is it you got to cast it every day for a year thing?
Every 7 days for a year.
That's not as bad.
And it costs 500 gold per cast. So,
Oh, okay.
well, but it's 52 castings. So, 25,000 gold.
Yep.
Honestly, at that level, that's not terrible. It's still pretty
Yeah.
rough, but it's not
If you're,
terrible.
yeah, I mean, if you should be able to have a chance at coming up with that at that level.
Awesomeness. This does not replace your ASI or feat. This is in addition to. This is what you gain if you've roleplayed through it. All right. So that's the prerequisite. Now the benefits. Your robes gain an additional regalia customized just for you. Now, I think this is going to be the interesting thing for many people. It might be a little overpowered, but keep in mind, prerequisite is you are level 19.
Yep.
So, and you have access to 9th level spells, meaning you did not multi-class out, like, more than a level or 2. Right?
3.
Yeah, you got to be pretty dedicated to get to that.
Exactly.
Not to mention all of that having to keep a NPC alive from level 16 through 19 level combat.
Yeah. Not to mention having to take like 6 weeks of downtime just to craft or 6 months of downtime just to craft an item.
Yes.
Your robes gain an additional regalia customized for you. This regalia is unique only to archmages and allows them to attune to an additional item.
That's actually really good.
Yeah.
And that's like the blanket, this is what you gain. Well, I mean, mechanically speaking. In addition, you have access to the Forbidden Knowledge department at the Lyceum. Unrestricted.
Now you're talking.
Well, what happens if your apprentice dies?
Find a new
You
one.
got to get a
train
new
it up.
one.
Hey,
You don't
it-
get like kicked out.
I mean, that depends on how they died.
Yeah, but I think there should be like.
How
some
did your
sort of,
apprentice die? I put them in front of me when the
Yeah.
lich was looking at me. Like,
I mean,
But I think
one-
there needs to be like some extra aspect of it that you're actually responsible for this person as
Yeah.
well.
I
So
used my
what-
contingency spell to Misty Step behind them when the dragon came.
you don't get like just a human familiar.
Yeah, I hit him in a bag of holding, and I guess it was just a little too long.
I'm just gonna make food and shove mine in a demi plane every time we go somewhere.
Here's a sandwich.
Here's a sandwich and some water. I'll be back in a day.
Yeah, good boy.
I didn't
You'll
know
be
he
ready
was
to
allergic
graduate,
cats.
eh?
I'm like,
You'll be ready to graduate when you can plane shift out of that demi plane.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm gonna make my test harder than the Lyceum's. 7th level spells, baby.
Yeah.
you also gain access to the epic levels of wizard, artificer. No, artificers could never actually do this.
No, they
Just
can't.
the spell level requirements.
Not yet. Wink, wink.
So wizard, sorcerer, and bard, then, or
Yeah, none of this has been specific to wizarding. Epic levels of wizard, sorcerer, or bard.
I could almost
cleric.
argue that, yeah, like a knowledge cleric or there's a magic
Arcana
cleric. Arcana cleric might even be able to do it.
If
mean,
your
technically they-
specific subclass of another class thematically suits this prestige, you also gain access to that class's epic levels.
I'd say as a baseline, you'd need to be, at the very least, proficient in Arcana.
You know, that's a good call.
Proficient in Arcana would be a good call.
Yeah.
That seems pretty
Proficient
important.
in Arcana.
You know, you don't want to be an untrained wizard or like a a cleric that
Yeah.
doesn't know religion.
You're
I was
just
gonna
like
say,
a
what if
dumb
you-
sorcerer who doesn't know anything about magic. Hey, I just do it.
What about a druid who doesn't know nature?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those city druids are always a thing.
That's fair.
Alrighty. So let's go over this. Lyceum member. Oh wait, another question. So are you able to get multiple paths, or are the mutually exclusive? I.e., is getting both Lyceum one and Ashari one possible? No, it is not. If you want to become prestigious, you need to dedicate yourself to that particular prestige. Now, roleplay purposes, it might make sense for your character to be able to go into two different avenues, but you diverting your attention from one into the other, you will not become prestigious in either of them. You have to be fully dedicated to the path of knowledge and learning through the Lyceum to become a prestigious Lyceum member or a Shari member, stuff with them as well. So, these are exclusive. Your character may only have one prestige path at a time. I should probably add that in somewhere.
Yeah. Because now you're going to get into, I'm an elf. I'm going to live 300 years. How come I can't do, if a human can do it in 20 years, I should be able to get at least 6 done.
There we go. All right, so prerequisite proficiency in Arcana. Students of Lyceum are trained in traditional magics up until the class year of 5, ability cast 5th level spells. In order to graduate, however, you must discover your own means of gathering arcane knowledges in the world, learning higher tiers of magic and unlocking 6th level spells. Once you have discovered new arcane knowledges, you can present them to the professors and gain the title of Lyceum member. Benefits: you gain your bitchin' robes, and tomes of your specific study. Just access to them.
That should be an E, not a B. In tomes, you have it as tombs.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
You have it as tombs of specific study,
Tombs.
which is a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's
Necromancy, that works. Yeah.
All right. Prerequisite for professor. Your knowledge has expanded into a realm few have come close to. You not only understand the spells of 8th level, but have created your own revolutionary magic item of very rare quality. Benefits: your robes gain additional regalia to distinguish you, and a +1 to armor class in addition. The secret library, accessible only to other professors, are open up to you, and you can channel your robes to cast a teleportation spell centered on you, only to go to the Lyceum. Once you use this feature, you must gain access to this spell. You must gain access to this spell by requesting it from the headmaster before you can do it again. Your first time using this ability, you gain access to a student who aspires to learn from you to graduate from the Lyceum. This NPC is considered your student. They have access to 3rd level spell casting at minimum and can be trained up to 5th level casting. You can set up any ritual. They can set up any rituals for you as you instruct them to do so, or can cut down the cast time to cast rituals in half. Cut down the time to cast rituals in half. There we go. Archmage of Dunamancy, level 19. Prerequisite: you have mentored a student far enough along for them to have graduated from the Lyceum and have access, or you have mentored your student far enough along for them to have graduated from the Lyceum and have access to 9th level spells. If there is already an Archmage in your particular tradition, then a battle of knowledge and combat prowess must be had for you to take that title from them. Benefits. Your robes gain additional regalia customized just for you. The regalia is unique only to archmages and allows them to attune to an additional item. In addition, you have access to the Forbidden Knowledge Department at the Lyceum unrestricted. You also gain access to the epic levels of Wizard, Sorcerer, or Bard. If your specific subclass of another class thematically suits this prestige... Ooh. You also gain access to that class's epic levels. Okay. So epic levels can only be gained through prestige.
Cool. I'm not sure what epic levels sort of entails yet here, but I'm thinking that this prestige thing could also maybe have some kind of effect that pushes your maximum intelligence score up to 22, for example.
Epic levels start doing that for you.
Okay, yep.
Unfortunately, I have to drop. I gotta go back to work.
Oh, that sucks. Have fun.
I'm gonna try and listen to this while I can, as I'm working, but I do have meetings. So,
all right.
It's been fun. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Jim. See you.
Bye.
I'll be right back. Gotta go get some food.
So does this seem interesting enough that people would engage with this mechanic without being so overpowered that by engaging with it, you become greater than everybody else? That's the big question.
Yes, I think it's fine, and I think it works. I guess the aspect that I would foresee as a potential issue is how much time does it take out of the gaming for everybody? But that's something you would have to solve.
Yeah, that's something I have to solve, and most of this is just like role playing in some manner, or like if you tell me, hey, I want to become a prestigious member of the Lyceum, I will write it into the story to canonically make sense, you know?
Yeah.
This is something people should probably like aim towards, not just stumble upon and always gain access. Yeah.
Yep.
This is not even an optional thing. This is something that you have to go out of your way to talk to me about in order to gain access to it.
Right. And it's nice to have characters focused.
Yeah. At least if you have a path in mind, you have to go pursue that path.
Yep.
All right.
Exactly.
So I like Lyceum member real quick. Let's there we go. Saving. Go out. Trying to think of which one of these is something that somebody is currently inside of or working towards in our community.
Which one? The Lyceum thing?
No, any of them. Because we're done with Lyceum. Is somebody
think I
currently working on becoming a high-level grinner? Technically, yes.
I did tell you what Lily was going to do afterwards. That would be in the inventor category, maybe. But
True.
I mean, I feel like that's a little selfish because it's like, oh, hey, my thing's here. When
well, we just knocked out Lyceum member because that's the only one that 2 people are engaging with right now.
Technically, Prissa could apply to one of those, but
she could. But actually, Prissa has access to something different already. And because she's not an active player character, I'm not worrying about knocking it out. But Prissa is capable of becoming a member of the Whisk Collective. Rather, she pursues that. Or no, Priscilla Bridgeburner. What are we talking about?
Wait, is she?
She literally built the entire fucking campus for them.
Well, that was on Kuma's, like, you know.
She literally lives with Dorzen there.
So just because like she provided the real estate doesn't particularly
And that
mean...
she lives there? Yeah, it means she's a part of it. Like, are you telling me, hey guys, there's a world-ending threat? Prissa goes, not my problem.
No, she goes to deal with it. But
Exactly,
like,
she's a bridge burner.
I don't know enough about the bridge burners.
Talk to Wyatt. He knows everything about them.
It's fair.
Cleric. Do we want to knock out Cleric? Or I assume when you say Cleric, you mean every church not typing them out.
Yeah, every church is just tough. Like, it's gonna be so varied and different
Yeah.
for all of them. I would put it to...
You could outsource this to like community members.
I was just gonna say, like, I would put that out to, hey, like me, I'm playing a Forge Cleric. Here's the prerequisite for Forge Clerics, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't make it based off of, like, Forge Cleric. I'd make it based off of your religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, some of them, like...
Actually, I want to make this based off of your domain. Not your domain, but your religion's primary domain.
Yeah, but that's what I was sort of saying. Like, Forge Clerics and the Allfather, those sort of, in theory, those hand in hand quite a bit. So...
Yeah.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
It's because I said in theory, you bitch.
I mean, I don't think she got that. You need probably
Sorry.
to try again.
My phone started listening and thinking I was speaking to her.
Oh, it's always listening.
I know.
That's how the AI apocalypse stuff starts.
I, for one, welcome our new AI overlords.
Hail Basilisk. Let's go.
Yeah. But yeah, in regards to like the churches, it's got to be something that doesn't necessarily is focused just towards clerics. It's got to be something that's useful
To the
for also
entire
paladins. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, church. Some churches have servants that might as well be like rogues, for example. Take the Church of Zahir, deception, stealth, assassinations, all that kind of thing.
Right.
A rogue would be potentially even better suited towards fulfilling that role than a cleric would be.
I mean, technically, isn't Zahir also like god of assassins? I think so. That makes sense that it would be
Yeah.
rogue.
Yeah.
Awesomeness, that's a good question. I like to lean as far away from alignment as possible because alignment is bullshit. However,
I mean, it's a helpful guiding point in some cases, but yeah.
I'd say you'd have to, like, in regards to churches and the religious prestige classes, you'd need to be at least one step away from your god on one of the axes.
That's
So
fair.
that, yeah. So if your god is true neutral, you could be like neutral good, neutral evil, lawful neutral, or chaotic neutral.
Prerequisite acolyte. I kind of don't want to go over churches yet. I would rather do one of the other ones first.
Yeah, it's a bit more comprehensive to get into.
Yeah.
But
I think I want to go with one of the ones that aren't directly associated with an organization, like folk legend.
Yeah, I think I put it in the chat earlier, but there should also be the antithesis of that, which I nicknamed until we think of something better, Boogeyman.
What? Oh, someone who goes around terrorizing everything? Yeah, we call that
Yeah,
a
so-
plot hole.
Yeah, nightmare.
Yep.
Yeah, we call that
Well, you know
dead
what I
to the
mean.
other player characters.
Yeah.
But
'Cause
yes.
this should be sort of angled towards PCs as options.
That's all I am aiming this for, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I am not running any evil campaigns in Exandria because people don't have the emotional maturity to handle it, as I've discovered. Which is fine.
Yep.
Folk legend. I'm choosing folk legend.
Sounds good.
So take Volstrucker off the list and Myriad. Volstrucker does not necessarily have to be an evil thing. As the Empire is currently ran, it is evil, but as the community is progressing, the way the Empire is being run may end or may end up pursuing their ultimate goals, which would be devastating to everybody. So you never know. And Myriad also are not necessarily evil. There's only one faction they're not necessarily game-breakingly evil. Like, if you are the opposite of a folk hero, you are somebody who terrorizes people instead of saving them from bad situations. That's something that is, like, a level of evil that we're not really doing in our community right now. Whereas, like, you can be a Myriad member and, like, sure, I steal. Sure, I'll kill somebody if I think it'll get me further towards my goals. But, like, that's still not a level of evil where, like, you're just out of the question from the games, you know? As long as they are ran by evil, it's an evil pursuit. No, just justifying worshiping us by saying that you lie to make things better. I mean, that's how people do it, but, like, there is a difference between game-breaking evil and role-playing evil, right? There are different tiers to it. And the maturity level of the individual player dictates how evil they can be or what type of evil they can be. As a for instance, in our Sunday group, we have somebody playing Tosha. She started out as an evil character. Evil in the means of she worships Zahir. She assassinated people in order to make a living and pursue her own goals, and she was not above doing most bad things with some moral compass in order to pursue her goals, meaning she'll kill somebody that's in her way without batting an eye. She would go out of her way to pursue her goals, regardless of consequence for other people's that weren't helping her or that she cared about. That was her level of evil. It's not so evil as to, like, I'll go into someone's room and murder a child. That level of evil is like a no, you know, like there's different tiers of evil, and based off of individuals, it's okay or not. My problem with the opposite of a folk hero is you're terrorizing communities of people for some purpose or gain. That is something that interacts with the rest of the community in a very poor way. Therefore, that's a level of evil we as a community are not aspiring towards in our games. I hope that better explains it.
It's also something that's more I mean, it's more conducive to have that kind of character as an NPC villain that the group goes after.
Yes. Instead of a player character.
Yeah. Because it would normally people like to play sort of heroic characters, at least.
Alright, we're skipping this song. It's boring me. Oh, Tracy Chapman, let's go. Way to not only help save a community from immediate danger, but help to rebuild said community out of the kindness of your own heart. That's a decent prerequisite, right? You have gone out of your way to not only help save a community from immediate danger, but help to rebuild said community out of the kindness of your own heart. So not just I showed up and killed the monster, bye, but going, hey guys, we're gonna sit here for a while. We're gonna help them rebuild their town. We're gonna do these things.
Yeah. It doesn't necessarily have to be out of kindness, sort of, because that ties
Like
a bit
if
more
it's
into-
perceived as kindness.
Well, sure, yeah, but it could be also that you do it out of a sense of duty, for example. So, but yeah, it's fair enough.
Out of the kindness of your own heart or sense of duty to the people. You're a folk legend. Alrighty. I think that's a decent prerequisite for this.
Yeah.
It's something that's very specific to be able to gain access to and requires level 12. Okay.
I think because it's a folk legend, you have to be recognized as the one who saved. Because
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying like the perception of it too, because like
there are people who could be the savior of a city, but choose the anonymity or to be,
But if they
Yeah.
remain like that, they can. That more emphasizes the legend. Who is this person doing all of this? You're a legend to that community.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, you can live in infamy or in fame, whichever way.
Yeah. Because I think that opens up more like interesting characters, like somebody who wants to take, that background that like I get to be this mysterious person. Nobody knows who I am. But when I take off my mask, my name's Jeff,
Yep.
Yeah.
I played a bard of the, a blade bard once upon a time that was focusing on fame as a performer, but infamy in his day-to-day assassinations of people and such.
Well, speaking of Bard, I did add a suggestion in the comment box about there being a celebrity prestige.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as well.
I don't want to give it to like I'm famous for telling stories. Like that's called a bard. Like I want to give it to people who impact the world in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
No, I get
So
that.
It could be like someone who has a higher level of expertise in their performances. So like you could call it a virtuoso or something. Someone who's not just talented at their instrument or whatever, but an actual prodigy. So it'd be sort of like Mozart, I guess you could say.
Or, I mean, there's a ton of art that you could open that up to then, because you can
Yeah.
have your Shakespeare, your this, like,
Yeah, it could be focused towards specifically the performance skill or
Right.
some kind of craft skill.
and one of the prerequisites could be something like you've performed in every city's too big, every country, I guess,
Yeah.
or a minimum of 4 countries get you some sort of fame.
Yeah.
It's like you've played the Menagerie Coast, Dwendalian, and then Jorhas, you're known.
Yeah. Or you could set it to like a basic you need to have made at least 5 public performances that hit a DC of 30 or more.
Sure.
Expertise performance. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, so the benefits of the folk legend. This community views you so highly that they will work with you to pursue your goals. They will not charge you for any services, only materials that cost 100 gold or more. Is that good enough to enter into the folk legend prerequisite?
It seems it seems very generous. I don't think
Yeah, I kind of agree.
100 gold is way too much for the common folk. So I would say maybe 10 or 2. I mean, remember, living at a rate of 40 gold a month is like wealthy.
The problem with 10 or 2 is you're talking about the background feature of being a folk hero. Because they will do all of the services for you that cost that little anyways. The point of it being like, hey, you did this out of the kindness of your own heart or sense of duty. I'm pretty sure your character's not going to be the one who takes advantage of all of them.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, you show up to town and you're like, shit, dude, I really need to get this fucking thing made for me. Someone in town go, hey, man, I'll do that for you. Don't worry about it. Like, it's no problem.
Right.
But if it costs gold, they'll probably charge you just the gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
If
yeah.
it costs more than that, you pay for materials only. So you don't pay for the service.
Maybe it's the other way. Maybe they will. You have an option of buying on credit.
Yeah.
You've been able to your ability to haggle is better, or they might say you're good for it, so I'll build it for you and you pay me when you can. I don't know.
Yeah.
See, I'm viewing this as like a gigantic Titan Kraken appeared in the coastline and destroyed the entire city. You came in, destroyed the Kraken, and then rebuilt the city. They owe you. They have that sense of like, hey, we're going to do this. And as a community, like, not just like the blacksmith is going into his own pockets. It's like, no, the motherfucker's running the city. He said, like, we're doing this for you, and it's no problem.
Yeah.
It's more of
That was like oddly specific too.
yeah, it's kind of like something.
Something that may have happened.
Well, no, your
Right
group
back.
killed the Kraken. The other group came in and fixed the city. Well, actually, no. Your group, Otis, your group actually saved the city as well, and then rebuilt it.
I don't know that we did. I mean, we saved it from human fuckery, but we didn't save it from a Kraken. That had already been dealt with when we got there.
So in other words, we win.
Alrighty.
Making the competition.
There's no winning until there's peace everywhere.
So, morally speaking, they win. How do you feel? You can't compete with morals, can you?
No, not easily.
So, folk legend is the step up from folk hero.
Meek or people.
I like meek. How do you spell meek?
Yep. This gets really hard because what do? Continued service to the particular community?
Become a folk legend of multiple communities.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Multiple communities? Maybe. Multiple communities within the same country? Are we calling things like the Menagerie Coast and Dwendalian?
We're
different-
calling it continent
country?
within the same continent.
Oh,
I think
okay.
that's more reasonable.
Kinda. Country might be more accurate though, because for instance, if you happen to be a really good guy and help a community in the Menagerie Coast, and you were known for being really good when you were also in Uthadern, those two probably wouldn't really connect together. Where if you did some good in Port Zune, you did some good in Nicodranus, and you did some good in, Phelan, those there will be crosstalk. I don't know.
You know? Yeah, this seems kind of like it's built around a local sort of region. So it could be that you sort of at the onset you choose a specific region where you have been operating
Right.
for this to sort of take effect.
I would say, I mean, within the country, they'll help you pursue your goals. I would say that you're actually consulted on city goals, future goals, instead of your thing, because you've been known to be persistently assisting in the help and evolution of the township.
Hey, I'm gonna hop off. I gotta wake up early tomorrow.
Take
It
care,
was
man.
fun though.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you.
As well as local leaders will consult you with.
City planning. And you might, so as a benefit from a game winning perspective, you might also get some bonus to, would it be insight or information gathering? Maybe that's investigation
Persuasion.
or persuasion within your city specific or region. Maybe that's probably better.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
+5 to insight and persuasion checks made towards people from this region.
Yeah.
Because I imagine that, you know, kind of like our tiny V's constantly feed us information from stuff, I imagine that if there's some shit going down and you're walking through town, someone's going to be like, hey, there's that guy who did that thing. See this that happened here? That guy right over there did it. You become sort of the city bouncer.
Right. So to answer your question, Recant, doesn't everyone in a party become a folk legend just to varying degrees? Isn't the idea of prestige is that it's tailored specifically to the character? No, not everybody becomes a folk legend. Most of the time, and this is coming from countless games that I've ran at this point, people will go, kill the big bad scary thing, and then leave. And like that was their interaction with it. A folk legend is somebody who shows up, will take out the danger, help the community, and then help rebuild that community. Meaning you spend ideally some amount of downtime there in order to rebuild houses or create a structured plan for all of them. Like,
Yeah.
you go out of your way to do something magnificent to the degree where this community, they owe you. Like, you didn't just save their lives, you saved their way of life. You know? Like, it's way more grandiose than that. And as of now, I've only had one group of adventurers that qualify for that in all of my games. And that took a painstaking 3 fucking sessions of downtime to get through, but they earned it. You know, like, they meet that prerequisite.
Plus, I think we've been playing it for over 2 years.
Yeah. Like, this is still a prestigious thing, even if the benefits don't seem that prestigious yet, because it doesn't give you that big of a benefit. A +5 to insight and persuasion is really good. Tim, to answer your question for the flat advantage, there's 1,000,001 different ways to gain advantage in D&D nowadays. I'm done granting advantage for something that I consider prestige. Because you can have advantage because you're an elf now. You can be a specific elf to gain advantage.
Yeah.
And that to me is boring as fuck. So I'm giving you a flat, like, hey, at minimum, you have that +5. Meaning, like, if you're trained in this skill and you are that level, and just assuming you have, like, a +1, you're sitting at a fucking minimum persuasion or insight score of, like, 13 on them.
Yeah.
You know, like, you
And
got
on
a
the
good
flip-
sense of your community.
Yeah, and on the flip side, there's my wizard who starts at a 5 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's something, you know, like,
Totally.
it gives you
Yeah.
access to, like, you're not from around here, are you? Like, you didn't bow before me. Who are you? Like,
Yeah. You could kind of like phrase it also as social interactions have 5 lower DC in the region for you. or something like
I'd rather just give you the +5. Like, that's
that.
just,
Right, yeah.
it feels
equates
like
to the
you're
same.
gaining something instead of an unforeseen benefit, you know?
Right, yeah. Yeah, it works in the same way, basically, anyway. So,
Yes.
Yep.
The difference is the mentality behind it. All right, the last one.
No, King.
Not in title.
Wow.
Only. Yeah, that might be a little too ridiculous for it. I mean, to be fair, you are practically a king if you reach that level there.
It's reasonable in ideology, but it makes you wonder, like, in all those novels that you've read about, you know, big wizards who lived and ran and did a thing in a city for all that time and all these things. Like, what was their role? Because you know that the day-to-day, your Elminster is not just sitting on the porch smoking his bubbling pipe, things like that.
Right. Forger, it is difficult. It is difficult to achieve this, but just as a for instance, you go there, you kill the bad evil guy who was being a dictator. Your party has to pursue other goals. 3 months down the road, you have downtime. You go, hey guys, I'm going to head back there and make sure they're doing okay. Help them out with everything they're doing. There you go. You found out how to do this. Like, not all of these have to be done during downtime, but, like, that's a downtime way for you to achieve that. You know? There's, like, an easier way to achieve the folk legend as well. It's like, hey, we came through, we killed this guy. Wait, you have another problem with these fishers? All right, let me go out there and get it. Oh, you have another problem because this creature is eating all the livestock out in this area? All right, let me go do that. Like, you do multiple things to help the community instantaneously, and, like, that can just be gameplay that you have. Now, 12th level gameplay of we have to kill a beast in the woods. Your DM has to be better at handling that, but, you know, it is what it is. And yeah, it is difficult to pursue these goals. You have to aspire to it and go out of your way to do it and talk to your DM and ask for him to integrate this into the story somehow. That's all. I am very accommodating when somebody's like, hey, I want to pursue this. Can you set that up? And I go, bitchin', yeah. So what is the final title? So you're a folk legend. You're the defender of the meek. Um, king, not in title only. That was the only thing I could think of.
No,
Yeah, there's
patron of the people.
yeah.
Oh wait, this would almost be like saintly, right?
No, because it's not. It depends. I mean, if it's done as a religion-based thing, then maybe, but it doesn't really.
Living legend.
There you go.
I like that one. I like that one. Living legend.
Yeah.
Good call on that one, Forger. Thank you. Prerequisite. Mm.
Should this be level 20 or not level 19 like
Oh,
the others?
yeah, it was 19. Good call.
Okay.
Saved the world. I mean, yeah.
Save the region at least.
No, you did that by the time you're 16.
yeah, sure enough.
Realm. We'll keep it easier. Save the realm.
Yeah, that's
Region.
ambiguous enough.
It's not really just saved though. It's rebuilt. I think it's the saving part was just a visit from the very first time when you made the full hero thing. It's the rebuilding of lives and hearth and home.
You've made attachments as well, so
Yeah.
Must own a mansion in this region.
Well, but see, mansion's unfair because if you have somebody who is not pompous enough to need it to be a mansion, they might, like my character has a room in just
A
a room
manor.
that I rent.
I do want to stipulate that it should be something impressive here. Like, the amount of taxes you're paying on it contributes to society. Like, a manor.
It can. It's hard to answer that way because I sort of see someone who is humble and in service of making this city whatever he wants it to be.
I agree.
Doesn't
Alright.
always need to have a giant house to show it.
Must own a home in this region.
A home in this region that reflects how humble you live. So if you're greater than life, you need to fucking own up to it. Literally.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why when you go around our party, you've got Lothario who was like, I want that vineyard out there. I'm going to go and buy them, and my character's like, I just want a room over in that corner because it looks pretty where the ocean is.
Yeah.
Others are like buying bars and making them into House of Ill Reputes.
You are considered a king or ruler of the people without holding this title.
I would say king or ruler by the people. Because it's not something that you've chosen. It's just something that gets granted by the extension of service.
Yeah. And yeah, I'd say respected leader instead of ruler.
Hmm.
Because you're not actually, you didn't come there to rule them.
Right.
You just came there to help them, and they started respecting you, and you sort of became a leader figure. I'd say that if we were talking about like opposites, so instead of having like the folk nightmare, you'd have the like the opposite of this that isn't humble,
Would
the
be
one
the
that's
person
actually
who rules.
yeah, the one who wants to rule and who
Yeah.
wants to have a mansion or a castle or whatever.
They will
So
never
that'd be more angled towards the like noble.
Right.
I feel like that's
fantasy.
just the difference of how you role play gaming this, though. I don't want to differentiate between two different
No, so
prestiges.
so with that, I think that you should remove the part about without holding any unnecessary titles, because if you're considered a leader by the people, that's really the whole point of progression there. Whether you have a title or not. In other words, if you are the noble who wants to have a title, then so be it. But that doesn't mean many people with titles don't necessarily get respected by the people.
Yeah.
So the leader,
You're
by the
considered a
people.
leader by the people without having to hold any unnecessary titles if you don't wish to.
yeah,
It's sort of I'm seeing it sort of different based on how Sir Uric would approach it and how Mary would approach it.
Right.
right.
I mean, she might like settle down and live there and just sort of be like a person that people go to and trust, but she doesn't actually want to have any sort of leadership role. She just sort of falls into that. But
That's
Sir Uric,
pretty
he'd
much
actually
how.
want to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much how Keston plays. He isn't looking to lead anybody, but he's there to serve anyone
Yeah.
who needs some help. While other people in our group are like, I want my own vineyard. I want a big old house. I want this kind of this thing.
Yeah.
You gain access to epic levels in your primary class.
Nice.
So, you are considered a leader by the people without having to hold any unnecessary titles if you don't wish to. They will call to arms for you, they will never betray you, and have a strong sense of trust in you. You gain access to epic levels in your primary class.
Wild. How do you define a primary class? Like,
How many
How do
levels you have in it compared to the other one?
no, but I mean, okay, so I need to rephrase. Epic levels, how do you qualify then for epic?
You qualify for gaining access to Epic by earning access to Epic through one of these prestiges, and also being 20 levels in your class.
Okay.
But you can, like, if you are in a group of people and you haven't prestiged or you're not level 20 in your class and you gain access to level 21, you can just go, all right, I'm going to go, I was 15, now I'm 16 in Barbarian. You know, like, now you gain that even though you already had a +5 in a different class. You can go beyond level 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is more of a reward system to people who focus on what they're doing compared to a punishment to everybody
yeah.
who doesn't.
Right. So if you're only a single class though, and you get enough experience or whatever to go to 21, then you just take that and make it 21, assuming you've
Yes.
prestiged and everything else involved.
Yeah, that would be Epic 1 of Bard or Barbarian or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, obviously, the folk legend path going down to a living legend, this is something where, like, you want to have this place where, like, you don't have a worry. You trust them. They
Right.
trust you. Like, you
It's-
walk down
it's
the
your home.
street and you're not wearing your armor because you don't need to. Somebody comes out of nowhere and tries to, like, rob you. Someone else down the street will beat the shit out of them because you're you.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
not that you couldn't do it yourself, but, like, Hey, I need you to hide me. Oh, yeah? What'd you do? Oh, I robbed that rich fucker over there. We're both thieves. Yeah, we're a different class of thieves. And like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, do you mean the rich fucker with the bluish hair? Yeah, that one? Oh, cool.
The guy who saved all of us?
yeah, backstab. Hey, I got your
Yeah,
wallet.
exactly.
Like,
Here, let me hide you right over here. That says
Yeah.
jail, bro.
I'll make sure no one ever finds you.
exactly. You gain that level of like, you trust this community. It is your. You can relax here. Just breathe.
No.
Like, and that's a huge thing for people who don't have demi-planes. You get to just
Yeah.
go, this is my home.
Yeah.
If somebody steps out of line here, I'm good. Like, all right, guys. Well, I think I'm done for the time being.
Cool.
Yeah.
Save.
Gotta work.
Yeah, sounds horrible.
I've been trying to work throughout this, and I'm so distracted.
Fair enough. All right, guys.
I want to just add one tiny thing to towards the end there.
Yeah.
Because if you live in this area, it would also make sense to me that the people who live there, they will take care of watching after your house or making sure that it stays safe and all well while you're out adventuring or doing stuff.
Oh, I'll add that into the folk legend.
Yeah, community.
Yeah, makes sense.
A sense of community, safety, service. That's good. That's good. I always just do it by not owning anything.
That's a good call,
Yeah.
actually. There we go. Save. All right, we're done on the stream.
Cool.